Hey, what is up guys? So I'm going to be showing off a pretty cool cheese for some of you guys to check out. It is using a newer card that we really haven't talked about, which is Parasite Fusioner, and it can open up a OTK with a lot of different things, but this is just going to be one of them that we can showcase off. So it's also using a new fusion from the Wind Witches, which was Crystal Bell. So you guys can see how it goes off. We'll see a small little replay right here, and I'll also show you guys like another replay so you guys can get the gist of it. But basically what you're able to do with defusion is be able to defuse it and then go ahead and attack again. Now what's even more interesting with this though, guys, is you're able to use that card's effect to copy another card's effect and actually burn your opponent. I'll go into the full detail of like how the play works in just a second, but I wanted to share it with you guys because it's kind of interesting, and it's a newer like combo that I haven't really seen. So let's go and check out once again from Mr. Tabusa over here, and you can see he's playing his Lightsworn over. Oh wow, get sacked by the Felice, an extra free monster. I hate when Lightsworn summoned like 5 monsters in the end phase for free. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and see the Ice Bell, the Snow Bell, and then we got the Attack on Torborg. Going to go ahead and synchro into Winter Bell. He's going to go ahead and attack over that. Then he's going to proc its effect, summon the Dark Samorg, which is actually not a bad card, which we'll talk about once we get into the deck profile. You guys can try it out yourself. It's just something kind of interesting. And I think Parasite Fusioner opens up a door that a lot of people might not be aware of, that you can do a lot of crazy combos. And I like cards that open up crazy combos because being able to just to fusion straight up for this, you know, during your opponent's turn is pretty good. You can kind of block things, and then on top of that, this card has a really good effect. It lets you copy something in the graveyard, and that can be in your graveyard or your opponent's. And you know, obviously that's pretty good being able to, you know, steal things. So he's going to go ahead and activate Parasite Fusioner, and then he's going to go ahead and make a Crystal Bell. Then he's going to go ahead and copy Mykiel's effect, pay 1,000, banish the Felice, and then activate its effect during the end phase, because Mykiel does have to send 3 cards from the deck to the graveyard. So he's going to summon Lumina, activate its effect to get Felice. Felice is going to go ahead and pop that card, and then he's also going to proc its effect, and it's going to go ahead and special summon the Winter Bell and also the Snow Bell. And it's going to go ahead and activate its effect, and he's going to go ahead and fusion, again, dodging your opponent. That's really powerful stuff. I mean, the guy has a JD and a Black Lobster Soldier, so you know the other guy is going to follow up real soon with a big play. But he's going to go ahead and synchro up real soon into the Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. And then he's going to go and copy that effect of Mykiel, banish the Lumina, attack over the Wolf, attack him directly over there. And what's interesting is you can still use this card's effect to actually use Winter Bell's effect, and then you can burn your opponent. So he's going to go ahead and Card Trooper's effect, and he's going to go ahead and activate that effect, and he's going to go ahead and be forced to negate that, because he can't just drop JD and blow. Well, he could try. I'm pretty sure Crystal Wing would negate that. I mean, when BLS targets targets level 5 or higher monster, which of course he had, but nonetheless he games him over there. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out the deck profile. I'll talk a little bit more about it so you guys can get a better understanding of the deck. So let's go to the deck edit, and we have the Parasite OTK cheese. Now, you don't have to go for the OTKs. I just wanted to showcase off that you can OTK with defusions. And also, the deck is a pretty decent deck because it has this card called, well, this card is a pretty cool card, but mostly Dark Samorg is a card. When this card first came out, guys, for those of you that didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh!, this was like $150 when the card came out. Everyone was freaking out about it. It was like, wow, this is straight broken. It's crazy. But anyways, let's go ahead and go over the monsters, because I feel like there's some that are a little bit older that you guys might not be aware of. But first off, we got triple copies of Mist Valley Apex Avian, and that is all due to being able to special summon a monster, because you get to target a Wind Witch monster in your graveyard, and you get to burn your opponent. But during either player's battle phase, you can target one Wind Witch monster you control, and then you get to special summon one monster in your hand with a level less than or equal to that monster's, but it can't attack this turn. And you can summon a lot of different things, and it definitely works well in this deck because, you know, you can summon Apex Avian because this monster is a 7. So you got 3 copies of Apex Avian, so this lets you negate anything by bouncing this card back to the hand, and it's really easy to summon in this deck because you can just throw out Winter Bells. And then we have 2 copies of Dark Samorg. So Dark Samorg, like I said, it was like $150 when I'm talking like the first week when the card came out, and then it flopped really hard because everyone's like, you know what, this card's not that great. But I mean, it had a lot of hype. But anyways, while face up on the field, this card is also Wind Attribute. You can banish 1 Dark monster and 1 Wind monster from your graveyard and special summon this card from your hand. You can also banish 1 Dark monster and 1 Wind monster from your hand to special summon this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot set any cards on the field. That makes it so they cannot set anything, which is pretty crazy. Now, setting things isn't that great right now in UD. I mean, we have the Solomons, but other than that, no one really set in monsters. Flip effects, you know, they're just really not in these days. But nonetheless, I just wanted to figure I'd mention that card because it is potentially a really good card. I mean, if you're playing against the Paleozoics, those traps that are all level 2s, then yeah, excellent card. You pretty much beat them if you summon this card. They can't do anything if they can't set. And then we have 2 copies of Speedroid Double Yo-Yo. So when this card is normal summon, you can target a level 3 lower Speedroid and special summon it. Pretty much what you're going to be doing is just dumping out Winter Bells. I mean, you guys have seen Wind Witches with the Crystal Wing over and over. I've showed you guys that. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll also put a video down below. You guys can check out that because you can definitely throw out Crystal Wing real easy in this deck. But this is kind of a different build, and it's interesting because... oh, you know what they did? They changed the... okay. There is... okay, I think it got removed. What happens... oh, well, that other card, Parasite, the Parasite card, I guess, got removed? Oh, no, it's right here. Never mind, I'm blind. My bad, I was like, what the heck, what happened to the Parasite card? I was looking for the new cards, I didn't see the crosses on them. Anyways, so, yeah, and next up we got 3 copies of Speedroid Terror Top over here, and then we got 2 copies of Mist Valley Thunderbird. So, when this card is face up on the field, returns to the hand, you get to special summon it, and then this card cannot attack during turn it with special summon by this effect. So what you're able to do is, potentially if you happen to have Apex Avian already on board, you're able to pretty much just keep on having extra fodder for the card, so it gives you access to that. And then we have 3 copies of one of the best cards for the Wind Witches, which is Wind Witch Ice Bell. So you can just special summon the card, and then you can special summon 1 wind monster from your deck, and then monster summoned by this cannot be tributed, but it doesn't matter, you're going to go in synchro. But there's a downside. You can only go for wind monsters, but for the most part, it's not really that bad because you have a lot of good targets to go for. And then later on, obviously, you can go ahead and use the Parasite Fusion during your opponent's turn because that card is pretty good. But anyways, next up we got the 3 copies of Speedroid Takum Tom Borg. Is that how you say it? Is it Taken Tom? Talkin' Tom? I don't know. You guys always say I pronounce the name wrong. What is it? Let me know in the comments. Because I see all you guys arguing about the pronunciation of that. We need to make a straw poll of that one day. But next up, we got 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and 2 copies of Maxi. Really good cards in the ABC matchup. These are just excellent cards to have. And then we have 2 copies of Apprentice Piper. So it's flip effect that lets you special summon a monster from your hand. And if this card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can special summon 1 monster from your hand. So it's a flip effect and another bonus effect if it happens to survive, which it usually doesn't, but hey, it's there, right? You can special summon any of these. Like, these are usually what you want to go for, or any of the other cards that help you extend your combos. Next up, we have 3 copies of Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice. So when this card is normal or special, you can target a Speedroid monster you control, except for Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice, and declare level 1 to 6. So this is basically Toolbox Central for you guys. But keep in mind, if you do go for the Wind Witch, you're limited to what you can make. But nonetheless, yeah, it is something you can have access to because you can only special summon things from the extract that are 5 or higher, and they have to be wind. So it's pretty conditional, but pretty much everything you're going for is going to be wind, anyways. And then we have 3 copies of Wind Witch Snowbell. So if the only monsters you control are 2 or more wind monsters, which is like basically Speedroid and like the whole entire deck, you can go ahead and special summon this card, and then a wind synchro monster that uses this card as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. One little tip that I have for you guys, and I've mentioned it before, but you know, there's always new people jumping into the game. If you can get out Crystal Wing and have this card protected, it usually is game for a lot of different decks. I'd say that it makes you so you get at least like a bonus 25% chance of just automatically winning, because some decks, they don't have an out to this other than a monster effect that destroys, and if this card's not going to be destroyed by a monster effect or something, it still has a decent amount of attack, and then if it battles something higher, it's going to gain that extra attack. So this card already protects itself for the most part by battle. The only way you're going to be destroying it is really like targeting and like bouncing it back, but for the most part you just negate that effect that's bouncing it back, so it makes it a little bit more tough to deal with for sure. And then we have 3 copies of the Parasite Fusioner, because it wouldn't be a Parasite OTK deck without, of course, Parasite Fusioner. And this deck, again, it doesn't have to OTK, but it's just really cool that you're able to do it. But anyways, it cannot be used as a fusion material unless you apply the following effect. You can substitute this card for any one fusion monster, but the other monsters have to be the correct targets. And then if this card is special summoned, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials, including this card. So as you guys saw, it's pretty much this. This is your bread and butter combo. And this card has a really good effect, and I'm sure you guys saw it during the replay, but I'll go over it once we get into it. But as far as the spells over here, I don't know why you plan to upstart in a 43 card deck, but you know what? He's no fear, man. I really don't recommend you guys to play upstart if you're playing you know, a 60 card deck, but you know, I'm gonna give you guys the original deck, but I would recommend you guys to drop the card if you're, unless you of course are like, you know what, I'm gonna disrespect my opponent. Maybe that's what he was going for here. But yeah, we got the 1-for-1 upstart, we got double Defusion, 1 copy of Divine Wind of Mist Valley, 3 copies of Bewildering Wind. We didn't see this card in action, but I'm gonna go ahead and read it for you guys. So if any of you guys want to try it out, feel free to go ahead and do so. So you get to target 1 face-up special summon monster on the field. It has its effects negated. Also, half its original attack. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extract while this card is in your graveyard except during the damage step, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. That's a pretty decent little card. It has a little bit of utility. And then we have 2 copies of Royal Decree, so you can, I guess, make it so your opponent super can't set. Although I don't really feel like this card is super strong. I really feel like Breakthrough Skill is overall much better, but because this is if your opponent special summons a monster from the extract, and sometimes you need to negate things that aren't from the extract. I personally just like Breakthrough Skill, but I figured I would mention that card. As far as the extract, we got 3 copies of the Fusion Monster Wind Witch Crystal Bell. So this is the monster that's actually really strong. So you can target a monster in either player's graveyard until the end phase. It becomes that monster's name, and it also replaces this effect with that monster's original effect. And if this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card, which by battle or card effect, and send your graveyard, you target 1 Wind Witch Winter Bell and summon 1 level 4 or lower Wind Witch monster from your graveyard. So you basically can kind of make it again, because as long as you have another like Parasite, you can just make this card together, then just make. You have free stuff. It's pretty good. And then you can only use each effect once per turn, but yeah. Next up we have Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and then we have Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, 2 copies of each, and then we have 2 copies of Clear Wing Fast Dragon, 3 copies of Wind Witch Winter Bell, 1 Moonlight Rose Dragon, 1 Goyo Guardian, and High Speed Roid Chain Bara. So that's it for the Parasite OTK cheese. I don't know what you guys want to call this, a lockdown deck? I want to say it's slightly a lockdown deck because it does technically lock your opponent out of play. Like Apex Avian Dark Morg is trying to lock you out. But I really want to just kind of call it like a Parasite Fusion Winter Witches. I don't know, you guys let me know what you guys want me to call it, and I'll definitely update the title. Because I want to call it, you know, what you guys want to call it. Maybe Wind Witch Negate Lockdown. Dark Morg was 100. We should title the video Dark Morg was $150. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the vid, make sure you guys give the like button a titty slap. And thanks, by the way, for you that sent in the replay. Appreciate it. Shoutouts to you, man. But thanks for watching, and I'm outies.